The Ink and Paint Club podcast is intended for mature audiences. I know we're usually talking about kids' cartoons and stuff, but there's going to be naughty language. Anyway, listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, the guest room is shaping up very well.
Yeah, I think so.
You got to put all the drunken sailors in there.
Oh, so that's what you do with the drunken sailor. Put him in the guest room.
You're listening to the Ink and Paint Club podcast, your weekly home for animation reviews and discussions.
Hello, everybody! Welcome to the Ink and Paint Club podcast. My name is JD, and Kyle is,
Kyle don't give a shit about Steven Universe. He ain't here.
I was gonna say, don't worry, Kyle's not sick with the coronavirus. He's sitting this episode out in protest for his dislike of Steven Universe. But
He's making
Matt,
a statement.
Yeah, Matt is here like he always is.
Yeah, well, of course I am. If we're talking about Steven Universe, this is gonna be the last time we talk about it, presumably. So.
Well, I was gonna say, Kyle's been on the podcast long enough that he gets, can kind of do whatever he wants. But Matt, you're still in your trial period, so you're contractually mandated to be here. But also joining us is my lovely wife, Melanie.
Hi.
She's back again.
And I don't have to go through the contractual obligations because I'm married.
We have a contractual obligation. It's called being married.
Yeah, I get freebies.
Yeah, and also here is Dustin, who we haven't seen in such a long time.
Hey, hello. Well, here we are recording this podcast in this crowded theater with so many people surrounding us, having a great
time.
We really are in the future, and it's empty.
The future.
Yeah, it's miserable, and the world's on fire.
Lots of people sneezing around us and wiping their hands on us, but
and on their faces.
Yeah, I feel like we'll be fine though.
These jokes will age.
All I have to say is, that's every day for teachers. So,
well, not true. You had to work from home now.
Well, now I do. It sucks.
No,
but I'm just saying. There's all these jokes on the internet about it, and there's like all these memes from teachers, and they're like, "LOL, it's your first time." Like,
yeah, man.
I can only imagine teacher Facebook's like posting like minion memes at each other. Or something.
Yeah, it's gross.
God.
Well, I'll tell you what isn't gross. I don't know how to make that segue work. So a couple.
It's not gross. It's Steven Universe.
Sure. Well, it can get kind of gross sometimes.
Sometimes it's gross.
So a couple months ago, we talked about the first 10 episodes of Steven Universe Future. But now we are here to pour one out for Stewball because it's the end of an era, everybody. Steven Universe has finally, after 3 finales, is finally over.
Yeah,
it's over!
I can't believe Steven died.
Who would have thought?
Who would have guessed?
Really gutsy on Cartoon Network's end, I think. I think it took more balls to do that than the gay wedding.
The gay wedding?
What are the odds they would have him die of the coronavirus? Right when it
I know, it's like
very timely.
How did they do that in time?
That's like South Park level,
right?
The whole finale was made in 1 week.
Yeah. We're gonna be talking about episode 11 through the end. I just want to say up front, because I remember in the last episode, I was saying how I really wasn't too hot on this this epilogue series. I thought it was kind of like rambly a little bit, and like I didn't really feel like it was going a lot of places. But
because Mel, you had like similar sentiments too. Yeah.
I was honest to God, I was like, what's the point of this? And up until like the episode with his dad, I think, with Mr. Universe, right?
Yeah, that was the episode.
That was really when I was like, oh shit, this is what I wanted the whole time. Or the one with Pink Pearl, and they talked about her.
Yeah.
Like, that was good too. I want more shit like that.
So actually, the reason why I wanted to get Dustin on is because I know that he's also a very big fan of the show, but he hasn't been on an episode talking about Steven at all. Like, I think maybe when we did the best of the decade, I think you had Steven on your list, like top 5 shows or something. I think you might have mentioned
I sure did.
There. You mentioned a little bit there, but if you wanted to just, because I've already talked, to death about how much I, enjoy this series, but like, if you want to kind of talk about like how you felt about Future so far, or just the series in general, the movie, everything.
Okay. I like Steven Universe.
Good job.
All
Okay.
right, let's move. No, so here's my deal with Steven Universe. So I fell out of the series around season 3. It wasn't out of like disinterest or anything. I just, I was busy. I kind of fell behind, and then time kind of slips away from you, and then you start missing more and more episodes, and then it's harder and harder to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
I get that.
But then after a while, when the movie was about to premiere, or no, it was after the movie premiered.
So
No,
between the movie and Future coming out.
Yeah, some friends I have out here got me all caught up on the show.
Well, we've had him on the show, right? Adam and
yeah,
yeah.
you know him.
I know at least Adam's been on the show.
So Adam and his significant other Andrew, they got me all caught up. Loved it. I don't think it's a perfect series, but I saw a lot of complaints about the big finale, but I thought it was good. I don't know, maybe I've just been burned on so many animated series finales that the Steven Universe one felt like an absolute masterpiece.
I mean, at least it's nice when a show is able to like run its course and like the creator can like do the ending they want to rather than
I gotta honestly say I've never known like outside of anime or whatever to have an epilogue to like take their time and like finish a show. Like Steven Universe, I feel like is a really rare American cartoon.
Yeah.
Totally.
Exactly.
But
then go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just gonna say I probably mentioned this when I was talking about Future before, but I felt like even with like Change Your Mind, like the original, Steven Universe ending, like if it had ended at that point, it would have been a serviceable ending.
Oh yeah, I've
even
said
when
so
they
many
did
times.
Even when they did the movie, like I felt that was also a serviceable ending.
Right, I agree.
But I feel like now that we're at the end of it all, like with Future here, like I feel like Future as a whole has boosted like how great the series is in my eyes. Like, I mean, of course I already loved it, but just the way that it kind of attacked like a bunch of topics that didn't get talked about in the series proper, and just how it resolved everything. Like, of course there's still some stuff here and there that they haven't addressed, but I mean, it's all stuff that's, I didn't really feel completely
I didn't really think they addressed too much, honest to God. And I think the only thing that they addressed was that Steven has PTSD. And I feel like that's something that could have been, like, I don't think we needed all these episodes to get to that point, I guess, because we've gone over 5 years now with these characters. We know these characters. We know what they've been through. You could have just, like, I don't know if, like, I started with that. And then I think what would have been cute is, like, in the actual finale, when he drives off in his car, it would have been cute to kind of see him, like, moving on and working through those issues and seeing the new places he was going. But I just found myself kind of bored with a lot of these episodes because, I don't know, I was just like, we know these characters.
Yeah. So kind of like what I was saying earlier, I really wasn't big on this first half of a Future. There was 1 or 2 episodes that like were good and stuff, but ultimately I was like, I'm just like, what are we building to? Like, what are we trying to get at with this? But the second half here, I felt is really kind of where they, really
this is
kind
what
of
they're
showed
building towards.
Exactly. They finally got to the point of it all. For me, I really started to kind of see the point, in I think episode 13 where Steven proposed to Connie. That's kind of what started for me. Kind of started to be like, oh, okay, I see what you're getting at here, because that's kind of what really starts Steven down his his big meltdown.
Well, I think the episode with the pink pearl, when he's literally,
Volleyball.
he's like, I don't want to hear any more terrible things she's done. I just want to fix it. And he kind of explodes there. I feel like that they could have literally jumped right from that to then his actual meltdown. Like, I would have been fine with that.
Yeah. But I mean, in the second half, you really start to get a sense of like, him, the whole glowing pink thing, like what that's about. Like how it's kind of like his diamond powers coming out. And even like the episode where like he goes to Jasper and like is just gone for 3 days while they fight in the woods, and he slowly grows a beard.
Beefs up.
He grows like 2 feet.
That's all mental.
Yeah. But I like that's kind of what I like, that they kind of really got like really stepped it up after he starts to have like this slow meltdown after, you know, his marriage proposal gets rejected, and, you know, goes to the doctor.
Yeah, I liked that episode.
Yeah. And it even like kind of explains a little bit about like what PTSD is and how it could be affected, and then you get like, and even the episode where like he and his dad like go back to like Greg's childhood home, and Steven's like this whole family he didn't even know he has, and like he's like just realizing like, I could have had a normal life, but, you know, because Greg is such a free spirit and stuff, he, you know, raised him the way he did.
I wish they would have went into that more. I think that would have been interesting.
Yeah, because I mean, when you really think about
Who the
it,
heck's Greg?
yeah, because it's like when you really
He's a charity man.
Because when you really think about it, it is kind of strange. Like when the series first started, it's like, oh, you know, this kid is going on space adventures with these warrior women. That's fun. But then you get into the realize that Steven's never been to the doctor or ever gone to school. And it's like, yeah, I could see how that would kind of mess somebody up.
Well, the weird thing is that there's so many shows you can watch where you don't think about things like that. Like, I can think of a handful of American cartoons where it's like weird like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't think about like, oh, kids are off on fun space adventures. That's awesome. It's fantastical. You know, you don't think about it. But I think it's interesting that the show made a point to bring that up.
Yeah, because they had a balance of like having these you know, epic adventures and stuff, but also balance it with like Steven's domestic life.
Well, it raises the question, was it all meant to just stay a secret? Like, were gems and everything supposed to just be a secret? Secret aliens?
I don't know, because they're like the people of Beach City, like, no,
I know, like that's what I never understood.
Yeah, they were out and about, and then you know, after Change Your Mind, they all started you know, coming to Earth, living their lives. So I don't think it was like they were
humans would see them like fusing and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like the gems might have I feel like a lot of the time they didn't like interacting with humans that much.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they
sometimes
specifically,
they
like in the original series, like I know Garnet and Pearl, like on separate instances, were talking about how, like, you know, they protect Beach City and everything, but like they don't actually like.
Yeah, they have like a fence up and stuff.
They don't really get it.
Yeah. Like, and the reason why that they're even doing. Yeah, exactly. It's to kind of just carry on Rose Quartz's like obsession with humans. It's
yeah,
not
they
really
were like,
so
all
much...
right, we'll do this. We don't really see the appeal, but you know, whatever. So my feeling, I wasn't on the first episode where you talked about the future, but my feelings are a little different. I kind of went in not expecting that much. I just kind of went in expecting more Steven Universe, and you know, Steven Universe has always been a mix of, okay, this episode has some more plotty elements. This one's more just filler fun episode. You know, I was fine with that. That's kind of what I got used to, what I expected. So some episodes dealt with bigger plot elements, like you know, addressing Pink Pearl was a good one. But then you get episodes like the one with Rainbow Quartz and Sunstone, where
the special episode.
Oh, shut up! That episode is amazing.
I love that episode.
So stupid. And then the episode with the stupid sapphire, or the ruby and the aquamarine. That was a stupid waste of time. Like.
No, it was great. They brought them.
So yeah,
and then they didn't do anything.
Yeah. So Dustin, since you weren't on the last one, kind of my argument for, you know, some of my gripes with Future were that, I agree with you about the main series. Like, yeah, it's okay to have like plotty episodes versus like what we consider filler episodes. And that's fine for a normal series for me. But since this is an epilogue mini series where they're getting this extra time to tell a story that they want to, I feel that's not a time for filler. Like, I feel like you should get to your point.
That's exactly my opinion too.
Like, you have the story to tell it. Don't bog it down with all this stuff that in the overall scheme doesn't really matter.
Agreed, yeah. That's my point exactly. Is like, yeah, you've got 13 episodes to do whatever it is you're doing, and that's what I was saying. Like, we know these characters. Why do we need to?
Yeah. So yeah, there's a few episodes in here, like kind of like the special episode. While it is funny, is ultimately unnecessary. But I feel like a lot of the back half of this epilogue series, is really stamps down on the filler, and it's pretty much all. I mean, you could pretty much just play them back to back, and it like there is no filler in it. I mean, the only one I could maybe say was filler in theirs was the one where they go to the skating rink.
Oh,
I was just thinking of that one. But
yeah, that.
I mean, if you want to make the argument for that too, then the Camp Hiding Hearts reboot one.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
See, that one I would say is necessary because it's showing how Steven's stresses in his head are leaking out, and like how they're transmitting into the TV,
and how like such a little issue that doesn't even necessarily have to be anything he's stressed out about.
Exactly. So
yeah, but you also got all those interactions in the in Bismuth Casual where like it's being shown that he doesn't know how to actually interact with humans either, like right now too.
I would argue that one also leads up to him proposing to Connie.
Exactly, because that was
episode.
Really?
Yeah, because we hadn't seen, that was the first time we'd seen Connie since that little tidbit we saw of her in the first episode of Future.
Okay.
So Steven feels like he's kind of drifting away from Connie a little bit. He doesn't want to let that happen.
Yeah.
The only thing I took out of that whole episode was I can't skate, and she's gonna leave me because I can't skate. I was literally just like, oh, this is seriously happening right now. Like,
listen, that whole episode is worth it for that bit at the end there, though, when they fuse this to Vonnie and like they have Emily King playing. Like that might be one of my favorite scenes in the show. Like I really enjoyed it.
But it was so like predictable. Like we all knew that was gonna happen. Like it was just, I don't know. I
like when they skate to the commercial song.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Pearl really likes that commercial jingle.
Yeah, and then another thing is like so then what bothered me is like they introduced all these new concepts that are clearly not going to go anywhere, like Bismuth liking Pearl. Is that we don't know now what's going to go. Like, why would you even introduce that? And it bothers me that they never brought back that one pink-haired chick that Pearl liked. Like, okay, mystery girl, and like they changed numbers. Like that bothered me. They're never going to talk about that again.
Yeah, but Pearl got a bunch of other girls' numbers, so
she's got a posse now.
Yeah, she's ready. But and then it bugged me. I wish they would have brought Pink Pearl back because they never.
They brought her back in the third from the last episode. You saw her with the flower pot. She's covering up her crack.
She didn't really do much, but she did come back. But she wasn't like a plot point. But at the same time, I feel like her plots. She's
her whole episode was like just foreshadowing to Steven because the whole thing was like, well, her wounds are psychological, and I thought it might have been cool maybe if her and Steven interacted a little bit more because clearly they've got issues with Pink Diamond, as everyone does. And that's another thing. I have many opinions. Like, I feel like the movie and this epilogue both were just extremely like throwing Pink under the bus even further.
I 100% agree.
Yeah. And there's no conclusions with that either. There's no like.
Well, I think. Well, so I think at a point, like Steven, like you said, is basically like just tired of hearing like Pink did this and that. He's just tired of hearing it. But I mean, the blame kind of shifts. When he goes to see the diamonds, he realizes that White is one of the ones he's really mad at because he like tries to smack when he
that was a crazy
does
episode.
the take over her brain, just starts smashing her head into a wall. And this is like after he like shattered and put Jasper back together. So clearly he's got some rage issues he needs to sort out.
But I feel like none of it was like sorted out. Like none of it was. I feel like you could have taken this whole epilogue and used it as a way to sort out these issues.
Well, you know what? Sometimes issues just don't get sorted out, and I think it was very
well. And I think it does get sorted out. Because ultimately the second to last episode where I want to say I called it that Steven was going to end up being the giant worm monster.
Well, everyone called that. Jeez, yeah, that wasn't a surprise.
I just wanted to just point out that I said it on the last episode. It's like Steven's going to end up being the worm monster, but whatever. That it showed that
it's weird because you said that in the middle of season 3 of the original series. halfway in,
the worm monster was.
I feel like Steven's going to become a giant worm monster. I just feel it in my gut.
He's not a worm monster though. He's a kaiju. He's like a giant Godzilla.
Yeah.
He got limbs.
But I mean, the last couple episodes really kind of showed like what Steven's actual problem is that he spent so much time like helping other people was his life. That was his sole purpose for being. And then when he like this entire epilogue was kind of showing that like, well, he's not really needed that much anymore, and that's why he's having this breakdown because he doesn't know what to do with himself.
Well, and I think on top of that too, like helping people wasn't even only his purpose. It was literally like he had no other choice because everyone around him was so dysfunctional.
Exactly. So Steven was like
forced into it.
Yeah. So Steven is like literally the glue that is holding this entire show together, literally, because his name's the title. But I like that, when he turns into the monster, it's that manifestation of like, you just can't, you're so emotionally exhausted by being the one holding everybody together. And when you've been the one supporting everybody else, that you just need someone to support you for a while.
But the thing, like, though, it was, they wanted to help him and he wouldn't open up. Like there was so many episodes where people were like, what's going on, dude? And he was just like, it's fine.
Well, I think that's kind of what he was saying. He's like, he didn't want everyone else to be upset because
everything's fine, you guys.
Yeah, so he's not wanting to put this burden on everybody else because he's so used to being the one supporting everyone else. He's not used to having people support him. So having to bottle all that up, I can see where he's coming from to having this major stress.
He's always been just a really sweet, sensitive character.
And that's kind of what when he before he turns into the monster, he's even saying is like you see me as like this perfect, happy little kid, but he's not that anymore. He's like,
and he never like really blames anyone either for his issues.
Except for White Diamond.
Well, yeah.
he straight up says like, this is your fault.
But when he's literally like blames himself. He says, I'm a monster. It's my fault that I'm like this.
Yeah.
When clearly there's a lot of factors.
Yeah, and I do like the scene where literally everyone starts like, no, it's my fault. No, it's my fault. And Connie's like, shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. It's not,
God bless
it's not
Connie.
about you.
Yeah, God bless Connie. At least she's got functional parents. Kind of.
Ish. Connie's a functional person.
But yeah.
But they're also very sheltering too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they seem awesome now. They let her go into space all the time.
Yeah.
No, I just meant like, no one's perfect.
Right.
Totally, yeah.
Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, but I just like this I like everything up until the very last episode of just like how they've handled this whole meltdown with Steven and like finally letting him break down and like letting everyone else be there for him rather than him being there for everyone else. And I don't know. I felt like it's like, okay, that's what this entire epilogue was for. And in that, I can see why it was, I'm not gonna say necessary, but I can see why they wanted to do it. I will say I'm not exactly sure how I feel about the very last episode because it does kind of leave it on such a cliffhanger is a strong word.
I wish that they would have just taken like 2 minutes to just kind of show a small little montage of him just kind of driving and seeing new things, like, and trying new foods.
Yeah,
like just little things of his adventure.
Yeah, like I honestly feel like the ending is left so open that if they ever wanted to come back to this and show like what Steven's been up to, I feel like they could.
I was really hoping they were going to show maybe like a 5 or 10 years down the road when he and like they're kind of adults and like just kind of like everything's okay.
Yeah,
like
they kind of give. I mean, they kind of give you a hint that like, oh, hey, he's gonna meet up with Connie when he at some point, and I think even with his dad when he's on tour or something. But just like him, he's like, all right, I'm leaving, and then like he drives off.
Yeah.
That's an oversimplification, but
I mean, it's basically what happens.
Yeah, it's kind of a really open ending, and I'm not sure if I like it or not.
Well, but it's exactly right. I feel like it's exactly what you said. It does leave it open if Cartoon Network wanted to potentially do something there.
Yeah.
Which
I like that it's left so open. I like that not everything gets resolved, not everything in the series. I like that it kind of leaves it a mystery what happens with Steven. They tell you enough that you know what's in store for him.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of like that because that's a different story. That's him leaving Beach City is the end of this story of Steven Universe. Him going to see other places is a whole other story.
I just want to see my baby happy.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but you know he's gonna be.
He seemed happy.
He seems to be not. I wouldn't say he's fully past everything, but he's starting to become okay with it.
He's got a therapist.
Yeah, he has a therapist now.
But one of the things he said
Thank God.
he was like, you know, I may never come back here, right? And I was like, oh, come on. You're gonna go back to Beach City, like
yeah, but he was also just trying to get a reaction out of them because they were just trying to hide their feelings the whole time.
I guess.
Yeah,
I was like, come on.
I did that. That was another thing. I kind of felt that was kind of like stretching for time a bit, where they're like, he leaves and then comes back immediately and is like, why aren't you more upset about this? And then they immediately break down.
Well, it was so
like,
predictable. I mean,
like,
how many things has that happened?
I just didn't like it where Garnet's like, we were just trying
It's a kid's cartoon, Mel.
I know.
Everything's predictable.
That doesn't mean we can't complain about it.
I just have to say, I love this show. I think it's wonderful.
I just have to say, I love this show and I also hate it a lot.
Oh, no.
Let me tell you why.
But we like it enough to say when we have a problem with it.
I like that
we can be objective about it.
No, the show is perfect. I won't hear any slander.
In every sense, it is perfect.
I like that they brought Spinell back and actually made references to the movie, because how many times has there been a movie of something and they never made reference to it, and it's just so random, like every Pokemon movie, like
Steven, dude. And man, I don't know. He goes back to Homeworld, and like Spinell gets on it. She wants to jump him, man.
I don't think.
I think
that's just she's so wacky and crazy.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. She is giving him the eyes.
No,
she's just
no. That's just her. She's just weird.
She's just crazy.
She's foot thong. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Crazy.
She's just a lot. She's a lot to take in.
Liana Spinell would be like a sexually addicted furry.
I don't know furry, but sex addiction, yes, for sure.
I feel like in terms of the show, Spinell is great. Everyone loves her. She's awesome and a lot of fun. But if she were real, I feel like people would be like, "Oh, I kind of get why Pink Diamond left you on that planet."
She's annoying as shit. Yeah,
dude. Yeah, like fuck. Yeah, fuck Spinell.
But she's great, man. She's a great character.
Spinell's awesome, but I really hate her.
You love to hate her. But one of the parts I really liked was when Steven, he was like asking her, he was like, how did you get over your shit? And she was like, because of you. And he's like, well, fuck, that doesn't help me.
Don't give me my own advice.
Yeah.
Start singing Change from the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and he's even like when he goes, it's kind of weird because like Steven throughout this whole thing is like trying to find a way to be better. But like literally anytime anyone tries to give him advice, he's like, that's not helping or whatever.
But it's like he's rejecting advice, like he doesn't even want it.
Right. But then he goes to Blue Diamond and she has like this power to make people feel good. And he's like, I want to feel better, I want to be better. And it's like, what does that even mean?
Got a Blue Diamond song too. That was nice.
Yeah, good. Finally.
She's had lots of songs.
Blue Diamond? No.
They've all had songs.
No, Blue Diamond is not. No, she hasn't.
They all sing together.
I can't. She's been in songs, but she's never had a solo song.
Yeah, during the movie, she was part of like the.
And that was great. That was great too. But it was nice to have a solo act for her.
Yeah, because Yellow got a solo thing in the original show, and then like
and
then basically the songs with the diamonds in the movie were led by White, so Blue didn't get like her time to shine, and so it was nice. It was nice actually because that episode was the one that was supposed to show with the theater showing of the movie that they were going to do, but got postponed because all the COVID stuff,
for some
obviously.
Reason.
So it was nice to have that episode
wonder.
air a little bit earlier, so that we got the. That the stuff with Spinell and Blue Diamond and stuff got to shine a little bit before like the finale proper because that aired like 3-4 days later.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that the show creators intended people to just like not like Pink Diamond when it ended? Because I feel like they just dragged her through the dirt and there was no real. Like,
that's my big issue I have.
Yeah.
Is I feel like the movie onward. They went a little. They kind of went a little too all in on really raking her over the coals. I feel like I feel like they could have used one episode that kind of reaffirmed. Look, she wasn't great, but she changed and she legitimately cared about.
But guys, I think you're forgetting. Pink Diamond is history's greatest monster.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Why?
I forgot when Garnet looks at the camera and says, "Pink Diamond is history's greatest monster."
Oh, I don't remember that at all. I'm so confused.
It's okay, dear.
Okay, well.
It was the same episode where Pearl said she hated the Irish.
Oh my gosh!
Or said the F word.
Oh no!
Who could forget?
Steven had a knife.
Oh my god.
It's that famous Lost episode where Captain
God.
Newton refuses to air.
Wow.
They need to do a whole other season now where they can have
I just feel like
Pearl floss.
Well, she finally rapped. So.
Oh yeah, that was good.
I just feel like from the very first episode of the show, like Rose Quartz, Pink Diamond started out as this mystery and ended as a mystery. You never really got to learn who she was or what she did, because they started out, she's like so sweet. She loves nature. She loves people. She's compassionate. And then you find out she's a big shithole. Like, and then they never go from there.
Yeah, it's just, oh no, she actually sucked. She was shitty. I feel like they needed to do a little more saying, look, no, she did some shitty things, but then she became...
Yeah, I wish the diamonds themselves would have been like, giving us some history or something. I don't know.
That was kind of the big point, was like, redemption and changing your ways, and you know, like the diamonds became somewhat good people, but
they weren't redeemed necessarily either.
But
they're just
Rose,
working to fix their mistakes.
But I feel like with Rose,
which I gotta say, their opinions changed like that. If only Republicans could be that way.
Whoa, getting real political.
Sorry, my bad. I just feel like, in my opinion, like I know it's a TV show and it's like great and the character growth and blah, but I feel like especially White, their opinions just changed like so fast.
Yeah.
Especially after decades of
millennia, probably.
Millennia of being this way.
Well, you know, shit can change really fast when you know, it's a family member of yours. Yeah, because I mean, when they find out they're related to Steven.
When the stakes are high, something can happen that really just, I guess my opinion has changed all of a sudden.
Yes.
Yeah, like they were shitty with Pink Diamond, and then they were shitty after she died. And then all of a sudden, I don't know.
But then Steven made a case for humanity, and they're like, hey, you stop that. And they're like, okay.
No, they literally saw his gem, and they were like, oh, he's pink. Okay, I guess we're going to change our mind. That's literally how it went.
That's why they called it Change Your Mind.
And then we all sang a song, and now we're in the future.
Yay! I love it. I love it. I really do. It's such a great show.
I think one of the reasons I don't mind that Steven Universe Future had filler in it is I kind of feel like even if you have to really look for it, every single episode does have a point. It does have something that builds up to it.
I feel exactly the same way. Because even in the most fillery episodes of the original and in future, like there were elements there that they were using to build. Like even the most fillery episodes that they had for future was all stuff still building towards like this culmination of like Steven, like coming to face with his trauma and like how he's dealing with all the events that have happened throughout the whole show.
Yeah, like
so, and that's
go ahead. I didn't
no,
mean
sorry.
to interrupt.
Sorry. I was just saying, it's.
Enunciate.
Go ahead, Dustin.
I was just gonna say, like, even in the episode where they're babysitting Onion, it shows that Steven's always trying to, like, he's working himself to the bone. He's running himself ragged, trying to help in both.
Yeah, I know that was
once.
the point of that episode, but it was still just.
I will make an argument for two episodes that in future that I don't think do anything to advance the plot, and that's the episode with Aquamarine and Ruby's fusion. I don't see how that advances the plot other than like, hey, remember these two characters that hate Steven?
Right.
They still hate Steven.
The only big thing that happened was Greg cut his hair.
Yeah, and
I think that one was more just kind of
They wanted
wrapping up that loose end. I guess they kind of.
I didn't think
it was an
Yeah,
wrapping.
I didn't even the loose end there.
But the other one, I think is unnecessary, even though I like it. Is the one with Steven and Lapis trying to stop the other Lapis.
I was 100% going to say the same thing.
I like that episode because I like the contrast, like showing the contrast between like how Lapis used to be and how she is now, and I liked them showing that dichotomy between the two. But I don't think in the overall scheme it really evolved. It really did anything. So.
I completely forgot that episode existed.
Yeah,
I feel like that episode was a very good sort of foreshadowing for a lot of like Steven's attitude in the later episodes, though. Like if you look at that episode with the Lapises, and you kind of just see like about how Lapis is trying to like help this problem that's like not going away, and like the way that she reacts, and like there's the whole line in there too. I mentioned this in the other episode that we did, that display of like power, that was in strength, patience and strength, all that stuff. I feel like that really exemplifies some of the stuff that comes later on in this season.
I love Lapis. She was like, when they introduced her as a character, I was like madly in love with her.
Honestly, that was actually because I didn't jump into Steven Universe like from the very beginning. I stepped in like right as season 2 started, and that was because I saw the stuff that was like when the homeworld gems came with like Lapis and Jasper and Peridot. That was kind of what drew me in. I was like, okay, it looks like this has got some story stuff going on.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know we're skipping over Dustin. He was going to mention something about the Lapis.
Sorry, Dustin.
All I was gonna say is, I feel kind of bad about saying it now.
Because you hate Lapis.
Oh, it's okay.
I cannot stand Lapis. No, I don't hate her that much, but she is probably my least favorite character. So that was probably the only episode I really wasn't that into.
I grew out of her. When the episode where she first appeared, that was for me when I was like, oh, this show rocks. Because I thought it was really cool with like the waves power and they showed her gem form coming out, and that was really the first time you saw them coming from a gem. And so and then she had wings, and I'm all about wings. That's awesome. I love you, baby.
And then she just becomes a real
and then she just becomes all jaded
Yeah.
and raped and sad and
my opinion on Lapis is I get what her whole character is. Like, I think what they did with her is cool and fine and dandy, but that doesn't make her a fun character to watch and be around. She's such a bummer, and I get it.
She is, and I feel bad because she's been through trauma,
Yeah.
And this is who she is coming out of that trauma, and I feel like bad saying that because there may be some listeners who have been through some trauma and may be really offended by what we're saying. But,
yeah, I'm sorry.
But you're right. As a show, she's not fun to watch. She's just moody.
Yeah,
she treats
her whole story is great.
But they become best friends.
But then they become friends, But then she becomes artsy and angsty, and so she becomes the emo babe. Everyone.
I do want to say, just tangentially related to Lapis, that the one part of the final episode that I did really like, when he doesn't get the kind of reaction he wants from the main gems.
yeah.
He goes to see Bismuth, Lapis, and Peridot.
Yeah.
And like they're just like sobbing and all hugging, and it's like it's kind of funny that like the three characters that like he had like initially a bad relationship with, that he like they eventually grew and changed and stuff. Those are the ones that are really upset about him leaving.
Well, I think
Yeah.
Peridot's growth as a character, in my opinion, is one of the coolest character growths I've seen in.
Oh yeah, she's like
In
she's like
animation.
basically the main villain for a while.
Yeah,
Now she's
they
like,
introduced her as like the super Count Dracula scary person,
and then now
and
she's,
now
like,
she's just a nerdy little twerp, and I love
she's a
her.
nerdy little gremlin.
And so,
She's
in my
great.
opinion, I just thought this is just it's good character growth. They really took their time with her, and yeah,
She's my fave.
good. I just think good writing. Like,
Yeah.
Since I haven't been on any other Steven Universe episodes, who is everyone's favorite gem? I guess besides Matt, who just said.
It's Peridot.
I honestly don't think I have a favorite. I don't know.
I kind of bounce between Pearl and Peridot just because I like I said, I think the development of Peridot's character was really well done, and I do think she's kind of funny because she's this dumb little gremlin thing.
And also just
I
because she
think-
basically turns into the Zim of the show. Like,
Yeah,
Pretty
it's
much.
she's
amazing.
awesome.
Yeah.
And like, I love that show
Very
too.
Gurren
so.
Lagann-y.
Yeah, but I've always liked Pearl's character because I kind of like that. I don't know why I gravitate towards the weird kind of stick in the mud character, straight man kind of character. So
I like there's fusions that I like based on character design, but as far
I mean,
as like
fusions are on the table.
I don't know, but as far as like actual gem characters, I think they're all kind of bad people. Like they're all just kind of jerks.
Just
So
pick a
it's
fave. Just pick one.
I just don't know. I guess OG
Okay.
Lapis would be my fave.
Oh, there you go.
I
Lapis
would
before she
say-
got inked.
Yeah, OG Lapis. Like, season 1 Lapis. I really liked it. But I really like Blue Diamond.
Blue Diamond's great.
I really like her.
Her off and on Irish accent.
Well, I really
It's
connect
just
with
subtle.
characters that are sad. Because I have sadness. And so I think her episodes where she's just really mourning. I love the episode where she just straight up comes to Earth and she's just like, "Do you even know what you've done to me?" And I'm like, "Oh, get it, baby." She's awesome. But I like fusion wise, I really like I like Opal.
I like
That was cool.
fuck who's Pearl and Garnet's fusion? What's her name?
Oh,
again?
the zingy one.
Sardonyx.
Sardonyx. I like
The zingy
Sardonyx.
magician.
I like
That's
Sardonyx.
Nicki, yeah.
Cute.
She's just like really goofy, and I just like the episode where she has a talk show to no one.
Yeah.
That's so random. And I like Rainbow
So-
Quartz.
The first one or the
The
second
first one. is
Oh, where
pretty.
she's like an 80s dancer.
Yeah, I like that one.
2.0
I like that.
superior, but
I like that. Since I got Nicki Minaj to voice,
Yeah.
Sugar, like
Alexandra.
the one time.
Oh,
One
Sugar
time.
what's her Sugalife. That's
Yeah.
yeah. I like that. Since they did that, after that they could just never have her speak again.
Right. She never spoke again.
Nope.
So random.
You can't afford Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, dude.
You got that kind of budget.
Yeah,
You
man.
get how she sounds. We don't need
Yeah.
to ever keep speaking.
so Dustin, where were you? Because you were gonna say your favorite gem too, right? I'm
Um,
imagining it's like what Amethyst, right? That's what you said before.
Yeah, Amethyst is probably my top. Then I know everyone's all aboard the Spinel love train, so I hate to go with the crowd, but you know,
Nah,
When a
she's
character's
great.
You live your life,
You kind
man.
of like Spinel. I think Spinel
Yes,
is very
Spinel's great.
50-50.
Spinel is. I think she's very fun. She's very well animated.
Mhm.
I think she's. I like what they did with her character.
I think they did a great job having the audience fall in love with her
Yeah.
because she's so fucking annoying, but I can't bring myself to disliking her,
Mhm.
which is incredible writing, I think.
Because she's annoying, but she's a fun kind.
Been through shit.
I think
Like,
that's a good way to put it.
So if we're talking best overall characters, Steven Universe, I have to make a case for
Do not.
Greg.
oh,
No, Greg is.
Greg
yeah.
is
Greg
so
is best
good.
character.
Yeah, Greg's pretty.
I love Greg.
He's such a bum,
like-
though. I love
I
it.
love him.
I love that he's
I-
a bajillionaire and he still just lives in his van.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's like I did think it was very sweet that when Steven's moving out, he's giving gifts to everybody. His gift to his dad is his old room.
Oh, I know.
Which he's
I
not.
wonder if he asked the gems about that first.
I know.
Like,
I don't think they
wasn't
would-
there?
I'm sure if
I
they
swear
would
there
be
was an
super
episode
into it.
really early on where like Greg like broke his leg or something,
Yeah,
and he
he's
was
yeah,
living
so
with them, and
too.
they got real
and they're
annoyed
like
with him.
really unhappy. But now
Yeah.
now though that him and Pearl have had their comeuppance, right? They've had their bonding now. I think
Mhm.
it's probably better because Pearl always hated him because of he stole
The
her
Rose
girlfriend.
stuff. Yeah.
And
By
He's
now-
this
still my
point in
girl.
the series, they probably don't mind.
but now that they've gotten better, they've gotten over their shit. I think it's okay now.
Especially now that Steven's moving out, they probably want
New
another
Steven.
universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remembered one question I've always wanted answered that has never been answered for me.
Mhm.
What was it?
Did Greg and Amethyst bone at one point?
I
I'm
don't
gonna
think
say
so.
no. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say no.
Ah,
I think it was more of like a father-daughter kind of thing.
I think they boned.
Well,
I think-
I think after Rose Quartz left, they were both in mourning, and they found comfort from each other.
And they had sad
Uh,
sex.
no,
They didn't have sex. They just watched Little Butler.
it was open
And they
to
had sex with
interpretation.
Little Butler.
You people have too
They
much
left it open
money.
to interpretation.
They do leave it open. When she transforms into Rose Quartz like that, it's super awkward. They do make
was-
you wonder.
Yeah.
Well, because that whole scene was like he's like because she's like, oh, you want me to hang out with them, or trying to get Greg to hang out with him, and he's like, and then she transformed into Rose like you'd hang out with me if it was her, and I'm like, oh damn.
It's pretty well because I think it's their mourning. It's how they're.
I don't know.
Which I
I'm-
guess I wish they would have gone into that more, like right after she died, like, or even before she gave birth. Would have been nice to see like how she said goodbye or something. There's just so much mystery with her,
Yeah.
and it bugs me. Like it just bugs me. They could have had this really sweet, like, sentimental goodbye, and then that could have been a good, like, end to her.
That's really the only element of the show that I thought was really not handled very well. Like, it's the one thing where I was like, well, I kind of wish they went more into that, because, yeah, it just kind of... You just assume they all hate her now. They don't
Mhm.
really go into the good things she did.
I know, and that's what I want to know about. Like, why did Greg fall in?
You
Yeah.
just saw beauty in the world.
Exactly.
Correct me if I'm
Because
wrong, but I
Greg
feel
likes
like...
giant women.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like after they went into, like, who she was, how she was Pink Diamond, did they ever talk about how Greg feels about the whole thing? Did they ever talk to Greg
No,
about
they
it?
never ever asked him about it.
Greg,
That seems like a big missing piece.
I feel like Greg has alluded at some points where it's like he's sad that Rose is gone, but like he got Steven out of it.
I think they treat Greg like he doesn't know anything. Like they treat him like an idiot.
Well, no, he just tries to actively avoid the gem stuff because he loses
But I
his hair
would've-
if he has to participate in it.
I would have loved to have seen the conversation like when she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have us a baby, but I'm gonna die. So are you cool with that?" Like,
Is that
how did he
cool?
take that?
We have an understanding about all this?
Right. And how long were they together before that?
I feel like it has to have been a while. Like maybe like 2 or
A
3
year.
years.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I'm trying to think of like the episode where she has that video that Steven watches and he's sitting on the beach playing the guitar. I'm trying to think, was he bald in that?
He was balding. He wasn't like as bald as he has been in the show.
So yeah, because when they
Then
meet, he still has a full head of hair.
So that's how I'm trying to figure out time wise.
So yeah, I think they'd probably been together for a few years.
He was young when they met.
Yeah.
I would say like 20.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
a number of years because there's that episode where they show like when Steven's a baby and like the crystal gems and like their appearances have
Is he
changed
bald?
since then.
Yeah.
He's still got like a little bit of his hair left there
Oh.
too. So
Because I would
Um,
say maybe they were together for at least 10, 15 years, in my opinion.
I would say that they were together for an appropriate amount of time.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
say it's been a while.
I do agree on the rose pink stuff. It would have been nice to kind of see them delve more into that sort of thing, but
'Cause I feel like
honestly,
yeah,
like I
every single
feel like
character.
it's just I
They all
think
just kind of turn their backs on her.
every character in the show gets a turnaround and gets a second chance, except for Pink Diamond.
because she
She's
did.
dead.
but the thing is, I feel like, because of the nature of the show, we have seen like plenty of her in the show. You know what? My one thing about Future that I was kind of hoping that we get, but we didn't get, was I wanted to see maybe resolution isn't the correct word, but I wanted to see more about Nephrite, the centipedal.
Oh yeah,
Because really the last time that like she's in the intro and we see her like as a background character here and there, but I mean that was kind of like the very first example, like Steven trying to help like the corrupted gems and stuff, and like when the diamonds finally got on their side and they repaired her, but not like permanently. That only happened like basically like at the very end of the original show. I was kind of hoping, like, I saw that whole like last scene of like, all the gems, like with, the kaiju Steven, and like they're all saying like, you never gave up on me, so I'm not going to give up on you. Like,
Right.
you're always there for us. Like, I feel like it would have been nice to have an episode revolving around her and how she, like it would have been nice to learn more about her, because I feel like she could have had a part like in that too.
Yeah.
I, aesthetically speaking, love Pink Diamond. I think she's adorable. So yeah, I would have liked to have gotten to know her better.
yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
Because yeah, so
So
I know we're talking about the second half, but do you guys remember that episode with all the rose quartzes?
Yeah.
that was awkward.
That was cool.
Well, I'd be so
That's
pissed
all
if
I
I
have
were
to
those
say.
rose quartzes. I'd be so sad and mad if I were them. It's so unfair what happened.
well,
And like, did she even give a shit that she did that?
probably not.
Did she know that was gonna happen?
It's been shown that, she was kind of neglectful and not mindful like the decisions that she's made and stuff. Like, I mean, Spinell, obviously the greatest of those, but also in regards to like the rose quartzes, I don't know that she foresaw that they were all going to be, bubbled after that she faked her shattering and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you know that?
Yeah.
It was just a little accident.
But I
A
feel
little whoopsie.
I feel like she grew up in that lifestyle. I feel like she would know the kind of like things that were going to happen, because they were very strict and crazy.
Yeah, but they also weren't, because I feel like a lot of that stuff that obviously a lot of the stuff that we see that the diamonds were directly responsible for was all a result of the revolution that Rose sought. And so I would say that Pink Diamond was only really familiar with how they were before the fact, which is only slightly better, but I mean they really took a turn for the worse after that all happened. So I feel like she definitely couldn't have seen some of that stuff happening.
My question, I guess, is like, did she fake her shattering literally so she could just have true, actual freedom? Or did she actually believe in the cause that gems should get to live how they want to live and with freedom and blah, 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 blah? Or
I think it was both.
Yeah, I think it's a little both.
Yeah.
Because her doing that caused all those gems to get messed up like that.
Yeah, and then she spent the rest of her life trying to help her parent.
I mean, yeah, she by doing that, she really did not help the cause.
But her intentions were good.
Were they?
Yeah, it's a given.
I tried to.
They make you believe that yes, her intentions were good. They really believe she was this like really justice fulfilling person, and then they drag her through the mud.
I tried, and therefore no one should criticize me.
Yeah, pretty much.
Listen, I think this is what makes her a great character, is because everyone has such varying opinions on her that
true.
That's true.
Because a lot of this stuff's up to interpretation as well.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's why they leave a lot of things open in shows like this.
You're probably right.
It leaves a lot open to discussion afterward.
Exactly.
So even though the show is over, there's still more to talk about. Rather than, it's kind of like the example I think about is Adventure Time. How when they went all in on the backstory and plot, and
explain everything.
Yeah, it's like
now
who gives a shit? Now it's so
Dude, I swear I watched the end of Adventure Time, but there are a large time where I have no idea what happened, nor do I really care.
Well, I feel like after about season 3, that show went down the toilet so fast.
Because it went right up its own ass.
Oh my god. Well, I rewatch the first couple of seasons every now and then, and they crack me up. God,
they're so
funny.
good. They're so fun.
God, they're so funny.
Lighthearted. They're
yeah,
lighthearted adventures.
And then they get like really philosophical in every episode.
Well, see, and I think that's the difference between Steven and Adventure Time, whereas I don't think Adventure Time went in with the intention of ending up the way it did.
Yeah.
I fully believe that the way Steven progressed, I feel it was intentional from the start.
I totally agree.
And you know what's funny about that is that I'm pretty sure Rebecca is kind of the result of Adventure Time kind of taking that turn too.
I agree.
Which
Yeah.
is,
Well, because she left Adventure Time.
I
No,
feel
but
like
like
a lot of
the specific episodes that she was responsible for, I felt contributed to a lot of that. I mean, obviously the ones that she worked on were still like a very quality product, but I think like what they left behind, like when she went to go work on her own show where she could build it from the ground up with this philosophy in mind. Yeah, so yeah, Adventure Time it's probably definitely not meant to be like that from the start. I mean, if you looked at anything
yeah.
Penn Ward did before Adventure Time, like
right, it's like
yeah.
butt jokes.
yeah.
Like I know, I liked Adventure Time when it was goofy, and then they would have these random episodes of seriousness, like the one where they go into Marceline's brain, and you kind of see like this abusive relationship she was in. That was like, oh my gosh, wow! But it was still like funny and LOL, you know?
Yeah.
And then all of a
But I
sudden you
wonder-
go into episodes about the Peppermint Butler being like a Satanist and being like philosophical about why he's a Satanist, and I'm like, what is fucking happening?
Yeah.
Like,
I think the big turning point in Adventure Time was, I would say seasons 1 through 4 are good and fun and a good time. And then season 5 onward is when it starts getting too up its own ass.
That's probably, yeah.
And just, it stops being fun and goofy.
I think when Jake had his babies, like, it just wasn't very good. And like,
It
I don't
kind of
know.
got brushed under the rug. But I they did do a lot with his kids afterwards, so it's not like they just wrote him out at least.
yeah, but they grew up in like 30 seconds, and so then
Yeah.
and they're sitting in an episode with his grandkids, and I was just like, what? Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, I was just like weird, and then he's an alien,
Yeah.
super weird.
Well, fortunately, Steven, I think, got to end.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I feel like Rebecca, obviously, I don't know this for sure, but I think Rebecca knew more or less the end game of Steven
You had to.
and was given, like, the time to build up to that. Whereas Adventure Time, I think, was built around being this goofy, silly adventure, and they decided kind of along the way where it was going. Whereas Steven, like, had a point, that it was building towards from the beginning. It got to that point.
Yeah, and I think that is a big difference in how the shows turned
so
out.
that like
Absolutely.
and like we were saying,
Like Gravity Falls, they knew.
yeah, Gravity Falls
They
got
knew,
to tell the story
they
it
were
wanted.
going to end.
That's
but-
probably the last time too, like that a show had a finale that was very satisfying.
But see, I think Star Versus had the issue Adventure Time had. I don't think they planned on it being this serious thing that it turned into. Because if you watch that first season, oh my god, it's so different. It's like this LOL random crazy magical girl in Earth, and then all of a sudden it goes into racism and
We need this show to be more like Gravity Falls if you want to keep this show around.
Yeah.
Kind of makes you wonder if they're gonna, like, with Owl House and some of the Amphibia and stuff going on now, like if they're gonna make that sort of same blunt, same mistake.
Those feel more like they know what they're getting into. Owl House feels more like it's kind of setting up a story. Amphibia, I don't know. It kind of does.
I can't get into Amphibia. I watched like 4 episodes.
Dustin can't get in Amphibia because they ripped off Urchin.
Hey now. Let's not go into all that.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly, I still maintain that I don't think Future was entirely necessary. But at least this back half kind of showed me, like, okay, I could see the worth of this. So I am glad that it was done.
Yes.
I guess they took it as a way to show that Steven was more than just this idol, this golden boy.
Yeah.
And that even fictional characters aren't perfect, which I think for kids to watch is a good
yeah.
Thing to tell them.
I'm going to say that it was necessary just because it was more Steven, and I wanted more Steven. I wanted more of the character.
Yeah.
All right.
I also agree with that point.
Yeah,
Even if
I
the
will
whole
never-
season, even if
I
the
can't
whole
argue with
season
that.
was
I'll
just,
never boo at more Steven.
even
Yeah.
if it was all filler episodes and there was literally no point and it wasn't building up to anything, I'd be like, I still enjoyed that because I got more Steven and I got more fun with these characters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if I can get on
Also
board with that
agree.
much sentiment, but yeah.
Basically,
I was-
any way you come at it, I was going to be satisfied anyway, just because I was
I was
ride or die with this
Perfectly
show.
content with how the first regular show ended. I was really happy. I loved it. It was great.
Yeah.
I felt perfect. And then the
It was a
movie
good ending.
happened. and I was perfectly content with the movie ending. And they even had like a stairway stage bow,
They
and I was
they had the Family Guy.
and I felt completely full and content with how that ended. And then this, and I don't feel content.
Oh, I was a little
Like-
confused for a second because when you said the regular show, I thought you just pivoted the conversation into regular show.
The
Oh,
American
hey,
Pie
regular
so many
show.
other
Because you
shows.
mentioned there being a movie, I was like,
thing.
well, yeah, there was a movie, but I was like, is there another season after that? I couldn't
Yeah, regular
remember.
show's another thing I think
Show
Adventure
except
Time.
Yeah.
What
So,
do you
yeah.
guys think is the peak of Steven Universe?
I think the peak.
When do you think it was at its absolute best?
Man.
I think around when Yellow first comes to
The
Earth.
Peridot.
Well, because like Peridot and Jasper and Lapis are there aren't they there a little before she gets there?
Yellow Diamond shows up
Yellow
after
Diamond doesn't show up
Peridot's
until like
been.
the end.
Yeah, Peridot basically gets.
When Peridot yells at her on the
Yeah,
phone. But the cluster?
she calls her a big stinky winky.
Yeah, and then Yellow comes to Earth for the first time.
Yeah,
Yeah, because Jasper, Lapis, and Peridot get there before Yellow
When
comes.
did Yellow come to Earth?
Yellow comes after. Yeah, when the cluster when they bubble the cluster is after she comes.
Yeah, so I think
I don't remember Yellow Diamond coming on her own.
Yeah, she comes on her own.
What? I don't remember this.
Wait, or did she come?
I don't really remember this either.
I think
No,
always
she
came
comes
Blue.
with.
She comes
Yeah,
with Blue.
Yeah.
That was
but,
like the last 4 episodes. Like
no, but Yellow still had like a big like she was in.
she had a big reveal, and that was when you first saw the diamond. Like
Yeah.
when you found out
The
the diamonds
concept
were
of
a
the
thing.
diamonds.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Before that,
I think
There was
with
no
with
concept.
Yellow's like main
Yeah.
main reveal, I think that's about when
I
I
think-
think Steven really hit its stride.
I think when
Okay.
Peridot comes in and the whole cluster thing goes on, I think that's when it's.
Yeah.
What about you, Dustin?
I hate to. It's probably the most predictable answer I could give. I think Steven peaked at the movie. I think the movie was like absolute perfection, firing on all cylinders. It had so
could
many great
definitely-
songs.
yeah.
It brought in a great new character. It was just a fun story with. It was both kind of. The story was like both very high stakes but very casual at the same time. Because I feel like them having to kind of go through and remind the gems, it felt very. I don't want to say casual might not be the right word because they are very high stakes trying to get them to remember, but
See, I
No.
didn't think all that was necessary because we already know these people and we already know their backstories, and they made us go through it again.
yeah,
Like-
but it's good for newcomers. So
Well,
people
also
who
we
have-
never got that personally experience their sort of early lives. Like we only heard about it, like how they acted and like what they were all about, but to actually see it in person. But I definitely do.
I do get it though.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely do agree. If I had to pick like a peak, like yeah, the movie is probably like what I would pick
It
as well.
feels
And if
perfectly
only
well paced.
if only
it
just
looks
because
so good.
they finally got to do their full ass musical like they wanted to.
Yeah,
And
it
honestly,
looks-
and that was what Rebecca was saying is that
um,
if she was going to do any other Steven Universe related projects after this finale, was that the one for sure thing that she wants to do. Like she didn't obviously detail like you know story wise anything that'd be coming after, but she really wants to do a Broadway musical of Steven Universe.
Oh
So
my gosh.
that'd
like
be
that.
so. Hey,
That would
you
be
know
wild.
what? It
I'd go see
wouldn't
it.
be the first Cartoon Network show they turned into a stage musical.
What else has been a stage musical?
They did a
SpongeBob?
Class of 3000 stage musical.
Oh, God.
Oh.
I
I actually liked that show.
I had no idea.
I love that show.
Okay, good. I never knew what the heck happened to that show.
It ended.
It just kind of faded away. They
They,
just
like,
didn't renew it. after season
Advertised
2.
it
Well,
like
that-
crazy.
I feel like
Mhm.
Class of 3000 came out in Cartoon Network's like really awkward period
I
of
agree.
like the
that
late
was a very-
2000s.
I thought it was such an artistic show
It was so cool how they did different art styles for the music video.
based on the music. I thought it was awesome. I
The
love it.
writing was sharp
Yeah,
and
we should
funny.
do an
and-
episode on that.
Maybe.
when
I
are we
would
getting Class
so
of
be down.
3000 future?
Right?
Oh God, the next generation.
Bro.
The Class of 4000.
Oh God,
It's in the future.
yeah. Well, is there anything else you guys want to say about Steven before we wrap up here?
I think one thing that kind of struck me, this was just like a very, very tiny nitpick. I don't know why I'm bringing it up, but it's just a thought I had. So the movie, it looks so good. It's so well animated. All the characters are shaded. It's gorgeous. And then it felt a little awkward when they brought Spinel back, and she's just not as well animated as she was. She was all over the place in the movie. And
She's still very cartoony,
yeah,
though.
definitely, but it still felt like she had to be restrained by budget a little bit.
Well, yeah, I mean, they
had a whole season's budget
Yeah.
worth to put into
Oh, I
one
know.
movie, and then
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you
I
get
get
those
it.
nice sweeping shots of like Spinell like wrapping around things, jumping around stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
I do get what you mean. Spinell does seem kind of a little more restrained because she's
I don't
just
wanna
appears in one episode.
I don't want to say it as a knock against Steven Universe Future, but I do say it as it makes me really appreciate how good the movie looks.
and how good Takafumi Hori is at animating.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What I'll say is, because I don't know if we'll ever talk about Steven again, is I think that this is a show, the kind of show that doesn't come around often. I think
I totally agree.
it's definitely a generation-defining show. We're going to have kids growing up on this who are going to, talk about it as adults watching it. It's very well done, very well animated, very well thought out. And there's not a lot of shows like that. And the fact that they were able to go beginning to end for so long, for years. I mean, really years. We grew with these people.
That's 7 years of this.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
a long time.
it's
And,
it's very special.
It's a really good show. And as much as we shit on it, I
It's
mean, I would watch
We
it.
shit on it because we love it.
I would watch it again a bunch of times. I mean, I've already it,
Yeah.
know.
I'd really like to rewatch it soon.
Yeah,
like all from front to back too. And I definitely do agree with that sentiment. Just it's definitely a generation defining show. Like
I
Even
can't
more so
important
than
to so
Adventure
many
Time,
people.
I would say.
I can't think of a show, and I've said this before, I can't think of a show, in my opinion, that I felt from beginning to end just fully content with since Avatar.
I can definitely feel the kind of energy behind that.
Yeah.
So that's, in my opinion, I think both of those shows are very generation defined,
One
once
thing
in a lifetime sort of achievements.
Yeah.
One thing I think is since we brought up Adventure Time earlier, one thing I think is good to say about Steven Universe is Adventure Time it started out as something and then it kind of morphed as it went along. It kind of became this, it didn't really know what it was. Steven Universe knew what it was from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm.
It still evolved in different ways, but it never felt like it was a different show.
I don't
Absolutely.
think that Adventure Time, I think the flame has already gone out for that. I think it's gone out long before.
Even though they're making a sequel series to it right now.
Which I'm wondering if Rebecca Sugar might be a part of.
I don't
I have
know.
no idea.
That's
She
a good
is,
question.
I'll watch
Yeah.
it, but I don't feel Adventure Time is funny and LOL random, like the generation. We'll probably remember it, but we're not gonna. I don't think people are gonna cling onto it.
I don't think Adventure Time is going to have the same cultural importance as Steven is, because I feel like for as much as Adventure Time did, I think Steven tackled some issues that
Tackled a lot
aren't
of
normally
issues, yeah.
talked about, especially in media.
Yeah, tackled like same-sex relationships, transgender issues,
PTSD, trauma.
trauma, parental.
And handled it in such a way that's not handholdy or
in your face, blatant, like this sucks.
Yeah, they handled it in like a very real.
And I think it's important that, and a lot of people booed this, like a lot of people were pissed about this. I think it's really important that we had this male main character surrounded by really strong female characters. And he never was like pissed about it. He was a really sweet, loving character. People want to be like him. And I think it's just a really good thing for children and young men to see.
That they can be sensitive.
Exactly.
Yeah, no.
And a lot of people were pissed. They're like, it's anti-feminism because the main character should be a girl. But I think because he's a
Steven have a gun?
It's quite the opposite. He has a shield.
Yeah.
He doesn't have. Well, I guess you could use.
Now he does all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, he kills people.
Gem puberty.
Steven's a murderer.
Yeah, but she got better.
She got better.
Yeah.
Fine.
But yeah, so I think Steven's gonna stand the test of time.
I think so.
It's definitely cemented its
I
legacy.
think its values are definitely generational.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, I think the main value is like we should all love and care for each other.
Yeah.
And take care of each other.
And not become giant monster worm people.
Yeah.
But if we do, love and support that person when that happens.
Yeah, on the off chance it happens, we'll know what to do.
Well, don't
Exactly.
even become a kaiju.
It was an
So
instructional
that's my
video.
final thoughts.
I didn't know becoming a kaiju was an option when having a mental breakdown. So I'm glad to know that's on the table.
It's a good outlet, I feel like. It seems unhealthy, but it's a good way to really get things out there.
Yeah.
All jokes aside, I think it's a beautiful metaphor. I mean, I really do. Because I don't know. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have periods in life where they have thought so poorly of themselves, you know, that you truly feel that way. And so,
Yeah.
for a kid's show, I thought it was beautiful.
shows that you still got people out there that still support you no matter what.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good message to end on.
Totally.
Yeah. So yeah. Guys, let's pour one out for good old Steven. It's been a good ride, and it's sad that it's over, but I think it did what it needed to do and do what they wanted to do. So I think Rebecca and everyone on the Steven Universe, the crew, I think they should be proud of what they did. So
it's not perfect, it's not flawless, but it felt very, what's the word?
Real. Raw.
It felt
real.
very stable. Like throughout the whole, I wouldn't say it was ever a point where like Steven Universe was bad. I'd say it's all pretty good, even if not every
even
episode.
filler episodes I enjoyed. Just because I enjoy the characters.
Over 6 seasons in a movie, I think it held a consistent quality.
But
Exactly.
you could, because it's not perfect and it was flawed, you could say it was the whole metaphor of the show in general.
If every hot dog was
Good
perfect,
point.
if every pork
That's a
chop
good
was
point.
perfect, we wouldn't have hot
There
dogs.
you go.
Oh,
There
like
was
in the
life.
episode, like in the one episode where they said that.
Yeah.
There was one thing that I think they failed in future.
What?
I think we still needed another Ronaldo episode.
Yeah, where's that? What happened to him? Where did he go?
Wasn't he at the party at the graduation party?
Was
He
he?
was there somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ronaldo and his samurai sword.
I guess it says a lot that he wasn't there and nobody said anything or cared to bring it up.
Maybe he came out as like a Nazi, and then the whole you know how
Hashtag
like alt-right
Ronaldo.
people are,
Ronaldo joins the alt-right.
and then so everyone was just kind of decided to not talk about
I
it.
think if any character was going to be hashtag not all men, Ronaldo would be.
Absolutely.
Hashtag Ronaldo is over party.
Ronaldo had to get out of this female strong town. All these women out of the kitchen, fucking taking over,
Send them back
stealing
to
jobs from hardworking men.
All right. Before we dig ourselves into a deeper hole. All right, guys. Well, that's those are our thoughts on future Steven Universe future, and I guess Steven Universe as a whole. It was a good time, everybody.
Yes,
wonder
thank
what's
you so
next
much to
for
Rebecca
Rebecca
Sugar.
Sugar.
and
Yep,
Crew Universe.
definitely.
Yeah.
Generation defining.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what everyone that's involved with this, goes on to do next.
Man, it'll be nuts.
Yeah.
It's been a long ride.
Yeah. Well, everybody, thank you for listening to this. I hope, again, with the whole virus thing, I hope everyone's staying safe and all that. So,
And if you didn't listen to it, fuck you.
You just skipped all the way to this part.
Yeah, why did you skip to the end, stupid?
it got hostile all of a sudden.
Go back and listen to the rest, you dummy.
Oh my god.
Oh, God. Well, let us know in the comments what you thought of Steven of future, and any other Steven Universe thoughts you've got.
Yeah.
But I think that'll do it for this week, and we'll be back next week with a little bit of something. You'll just have to wait and see.
Very excited.
I can't wait.
it-
I'm gripping onto my pants in excitement.
I'm so excited I might fart.
Maybe.
All right then. Good night, everybody.
Yay!
Goodbye.
So long, stinkies.
Thanks for listening to the Ink and Paint Club podcast. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter to keep up with the show. join our Discord to chat with us, and subscribe to our Patreon for some cool bonuses. Links are in the description. We'll see you next time.